I move that we authorize funding for LA Arts in the amount of $5,000, which would be matching funds for a Maine Arts Commission grant that they've received to create a cultural plan for Lewis and Auburn, Maine.
Second.
Motion by Councilor LaFontaine and a second by Councilor Lee. Discussion from the council. Councilor Crowley?
Oops, Councilor LaFontaine made it, so I was going to extend the courtesy to her. Is that okay?
We're a happy-go-lucky group tonight.
I would just encourage us to consider this favorably. It's a small amount of money. While I know there are budget constraints, this is a matching grant, matching piece for a larger grant that allows them to do work for both of our cities, the work that we've been asking them to do right along. So I'm hoping that I see support from my fellow councilors.
Councilor Crowley?
Thank you very much. Actually, that's a question I have on my list is the manager's position, because I do not support this. I'm not sure that the management does. I know that the cover page, and I did put a call in, but it was late today, and they are a little busy. It said that the staff recommended passage, and that's not my impression from the last meeting. I had questions that the information I did not see how it promotes in, it says to the area Androscoggin, Auburn. I want more specifics about Auburn. I think that before we spend this kind of money, we should be getting a recommendation from our committees, and arts and culture are part of recreation, and I believe they were deliberately overstepped. And it talks about recreational opportunities, and I have seen no discussion about recreational, so I am opposed to this, but I'm particularly interested in hearing the city manager's position.
Other councilors?
I said at the workshop, I'll say it again. It was about 2 years ago we had a meeting with Lewiston here and with several of the stakeholders in different groups when it comes to economic development. And we talked about how in certain situations there are going to be different point guards. When it comes to arts and culture, I think we've decided as a community to make LA Arts the point guard. They've said that this is the way to go in this instance, and I think it's a small commitment from the city. It's $5,000. I think we should do it. I think it will be beneficial to the community, and I'll vote in favor of it.
Other councilors?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do support the arts in Auburn and Lewiston, but I do not see as much coming over on this side as on the other side, and we keep funding this year after year. And when I asked the city manager if he had budgeted this $5,000, and he had told me no.
Other councilors? Any comments from the public? Back to the council for any final debate.
Could we hear from the manager?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I'll just be really brief. I want to, I guess, state what I stated at the last meeting, and that was I was in support of moving it forward for your vote. I'm neither for nor against approving it. I didn't go through the application with Josh, so I think it would be unfair either way if I said I was against it or for it. So I just want to be on the record that I'm not endorsing this, and I'm not endorsing this. I think this is your decision and your decision alone. So thank you.
I will ask for a vote by a show of hands. Councilor Young, would you like to make a speech?
Yes. In the past, we've held back funds from LA Arts, and we've budgeted funds, but we've withheld them to be allocated at some point. Don't we have some unexpended funds now?
Last year.
That was last year's.
So if we were to approve this, are there funds to support it if we vote in favor?
This falls into a similar situation as to the council's vote on the rail study, where it voted to allocate money without an identification of where that money would actually come from. Right. So this is another vote of the council to spend money without a source identified. So,
if approved, I'll find the money.
Thank you.
I'll ask for a vote by a show of hands. Those in favor? Chair. Those opposed? Carries 4-3. Councilors Walker, Gary, and Crowley in opposition. I would encourage staff, even if there's not a recommendation, to identify the funding source in the future for these, as the budget was balanced when we adopted it. So this is $55,000 now in unidentified spending.